Welcome, everyone. My name is Brianna Farrell. I'm a first-year admission counselor at Mount Mary University, and I'm so excited to welcome you to our second night in our Body and Soul Wellness for Students webinar series. Tonight we have some faculty members who are joining us, as well as some alums and students who are super excited with all of the presenters and information that we have for you this evening. Last night we were joined by Jennifer Dahlman and Dr. Kara Groom, who are in the nursing department at Mount Mary, and they chatted with us about coping mechanisms for wearing a face mask and any of the just anxieties that kind of come with that new face mask that you have. We did record that session, which is available on our website for you to review in case you missed it. And again, tonight we will also be recording this session. So if you need to refer back to any of the information that we discussed this evening or want to pass it along, that will be available for everyone after this evening as well. So to get things started off, we are joined by some of our faculty members from our dietetics department at Mount Mary. Tonight we're going to be discussing the importance of exercise and nutrition, particularly during this new world as we're trying to navigate how to fit those things into our new lifestyles. So tonight we're joined by Shelly Gable. She is one of our faculty members within the dietetics program and is also the director of the graduate program. So tonight she'll be talking to you about the importance of exercise, particularly during this time, and we'll also be joined by a special guest. So I will pass it on over to Shelly.
Thanks, Brianna. Hi, I'm Shelly Gable, and I am a faculty member at Mount Mary. And dietetics practice is the practice of nutrition and its overall role in health and well-being. And part of that overall well-being is exercise. I love to exercise. I love it so much. My Facebook profile says that I am a ninja warrior wannabe. That is who I am. Exercise and the love of it drew me into dietetics to begin with. It's also how I met Kelly, and we happen to work out at the same CrossFit gym and happen to both be alumni at Mount Mary and from the dietetics department.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Encinas, and I recently completed my dietetic internship with Mount Mary, and I'm currently working on completing my master's degree. For me, maintaining a consistent physical activity routine has been instrumental in my physical and mental well-being. Physically, the strength and endurance that I've built has been insurmountable, and the mental health that physical activity has contributed has been really great. The positivity that I feel post-workout has really been key to my mental health, especially during stressful times. As a student, as we all know, it's easy to get caught up in the work, the homework, and the endless studying. But finding time for yourself can be really important, but definitely a challenge. Sooner or later, those stressors of work and schoolwork and the studying can really start to take its toll on your mental health. Exercise for me has been my one consistent outlet where I can be fully present with myself in the exercises that I'm doing and totally let go of that to-do list that's never ending. I never regret that time that I take to work on myself, and I always feel stronger and definitely mentally refreshed after a good workout. I think it's really important for students, and honestly for everyone, to learn about the health benefits of exercise, short-term and long-term, and to take the time to find a routine that really works for you. This can look really different for everyone, depending on your ability, your interests, your age, but I think the benefits, physically and mentally, of finding that routine that works best for you is just too good to pass up. And I'll pass it back to Shelly.
So I've mentioned that I love exercise. I really do. But I do realize that not everyone likes exercise as much as I do. And I want you to think about exercise as maybe something a little bit different. How about think about exercise as life-enhancing movement? I think we can all agree that with COVID, it's brought hours of sitting at a computer screen, maybe not moving a whole lot, feeling rather stiff, and it produces plenty of anxiety and depression and maybe a few unwanted pounds. Physical exercise improves your sleep, body image, appetite, and can reduce stress, depression, and anxiety. But for some, the idea of starting an exercise program can produce stress and anxiety. So what are you supposed to do? How do you start a life-enhancing movement program? So I would encourage you to think of exercise as movement, which allows people of all shapes and sizes and interests to engage in. Exercise can vary for individuals. CrossFit is what Kelly and I are into right now. Walking, playing golf, dancing, hiking, yoga, even bowling. All of that is movement, and it has no boundaries when you think of exercise as movement. I want you to also be kind to yourself. Movement changes as you age. So when I was younger, I was into competitive bodybuilding, and I ran triathlons. But as I aged and got into my work schedule and having children, there were times where I was lucky if I took a 15-minute walk. Also with age, sometimes physical limitations take place. So, you know, changing your idea of what exercise is around that can help tremendously when you think about it as physical movement. You can move with physical limitations, things like water aerobics, weightlifting classes, and even slow strolls can count as exercise. So what's most important when you start an exercise program or a movement program? Choose things that you like to do. Not what you'd want to try not to limit yourself to what you think you should be doing, what you used to do, or what you wish you could do. So what are you waiting for? Time to get going. So we're going to get going.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shelly, for just giving us that insight into the benefits of you know, exercise for at any age, and particularly during this time when we may be sitting down a little bit more than we are used to and not moving our bodies as much. I know that's something that I've had to contend with a little bit during this time. So thank you so much. Next, we are going to be chatting with Pat Kempen. Pat is our department chair of the dietetics program. She's also the director of the coordinated program and also one of our faculty members. Pat is going to be chatting a little bit about just nutrition and, again, the importance of food and nutrition during this time for everyone. Another thing to mention is that Pat will be sticking around a little bit after her presentation, so if you have any questions for her, please feel free to throw them up in the chat, and we'll be asking her those a little bit later. But Pat.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Bree. Thanks for introducing us. As Bree mentioned, my name is Pat Kempen. I'm the chair of the department. I'm also a registered dietitian and also an alum of Mount Mary. So we have quite a few alums here with us this evening. My career prior to coming to Mount Mary was in healthcare, largely department management and also clinical nutrition. My partner and my surprise guest is Kate Peterson. She'll be following me here in a second. She is also a registered dietitian and an alum of our program. Kate has a nutrition coaching and counseling private practice called Kate Peterson Nutrition. Kate will start us off tonight with getting to your wellness goals and selecting the right nutrients and foods during times of stress. So here's my special guest, Kate Peterson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that intro, Pat. As Pat mentioned, I am an alum of Mount Mary. I just graduated last summer, so I'm pretty fresh. I know exactly how you guys are feeling, that excitement, and maybe some of that anxiety with starting a new school year, a new routine, and in the midst of all this craziness, no doubt there's a little bit of stress there. So in my opinion, a good diet and properly fueling your body is one of the best forms of self-care that you can do. So as Pat said, giving your body the right nutrients and really feeding that body is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. But what happens in these moments of stress? Sometimes we end up turning to things like food to kind of be a coping mechanism. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips for more mindful eating. So sometimes when we're snacking and we get into those kind of snacky moods, that's a little bit of mindless eating. So we're not really thinking about the food that we're putting in. We're maybe not making the most nutritious decisions. So we want to shift that mindless eating into that more mindful eating. That's kind of the goal, and just having that awareness. So number one, I want you to take a second to stop and think about why you're eating. Are you actually hungry? Are you feeling those hunger cues, that rumbling belly, maybe that lightheadedness? You're just feeling really physically hungry. Pay attention to those hunger cues. Your body really tells you when it's ready for food. Number two, if you're not hungry, you're not feeling those cues of lightheadedness, or maybe for some of us it's headachy or crabby. I know I get very hangry. I get very angry and hungry at the same time. So that's kind of my hunger cue. But ask yourself why you're reaching for food. Are you using food as a way to cope for something else? So like I mentioned, in times of stress, a lot of times we reach for food. That's very comforting to us. Sometimes we reach for food out of boredom, or it's just a habit. You know, oh, I always eat a snack at 3 in the afternoon, so I might as well just eat right now. But if you're not physically hungry, you may not enjoy that snack as much, or you may end up overeating more than you would have if you were really paying attention to that snack. So number 3, is there something that you can do to cope or distract yourself from those munchy feelings? So I like to tell people sometimes you physically need to remove yourself from that situation that's causing that munchiness, that desire to keep running back to the fridge and grabbing yourself out of that kitchen. Going for a walk, even just a quick little walk around the block, can just, you know, get your head out of that idea of munching. Maybe it's calling a friend, maybe calling your mom or your best friend really helps get your brain off of that idea of all those snacks in your pantry. I have people that I know that will even think really quick like that, really physical, kind of get that heart rate pumping, totally gets the idea of that out of your head. So that might be something that's not quite kicking that urge to snack, and you're still finding yourself walking to the kitchen and really, you know, mindlessly snacking. We want to learn how to eat more mindfully. So it's okay to snack. We like to snack. Food brings us pleasure. We love to eat. That's what our taste buds are there for, to help us taste all of these delicious foods in life. But slowing down and really paying attention to the food that you're eating is important. So number 1, sit down at a table. Always, whether you're snacking or you're eating, sit down at a table, put that cell phone away, turn the TV off, and really pay attention to that food that you're eating. Taste it, smell it, you know, touch it, really get really in there with your food, really understand what you're putting in your body, and really be in the moment there. And number 5, my last tip for eating is just giving yourself grace. We are human, and stress eating happens to the best of us. I'm a dietitian. This is my world. I try to teach people every single day how to more mindfully eat. And I sometimes find myself mindless, but just remember that each bite, each meal, each snack is a time for you to start over. So if you feel like you mindlessly ate all morning, you know, flip the switch in the afternoon and try more mindfully eating. There's always a time to start over and a time to get going again. So I wish you guys good luck this fall, and I am excited for you. You're going to have a great time.
Thanks, Kate. That was really helpful. And actually, we have a comment in the chat area that they're looking for us to post your 5 tips for mindful eating. So we'll make sure that we do that. So you are probably thinking, I need more information. I have so many questions, and I need the right answers. So here's your next important step. Contact a registered dietitian, and you've now heard from 4 of us today. Here are a few reasons why a registered dietitian is the person to connect with. An RD has completed multiple layers of education and training with an extensive program of supervised practice. An RD has had to pass a national registration exam and continue their training throughout their career. An RD is also certified and licensed by their state, a very important piece of this. An RD is also trained to not only address wellness and what we're talking about today, eating during times of stress, but also chronic disease management, such as managing diabetes and high blood pressure. You might have issues with or questions about the nutrition of your children or possibly elderly family members, just to name a few. Registered dietitians are trained to be able to understand and help clients with all of these concerns and questions. If you need help finding a registered dietitian, feel free to contact our department at Mount Mary. Thank you so much for joining Kate and I. We enjoyed working with you this evening. Good health to all of you. And now I'm sending it back to Bree.
Thank you so much, Pat and Kate, for joining us this evening. Again, hand in hand with exercise, I think nutrition and mindful eating has been a struggle for a lot of people. So those tips were very helpful. I found them very helpful as I'm also trying to navigate how to maintain a healthy diet right now. Yes, so we did get a comment about posting the tips for mindful eating, and that is something that we will be able to do after the session as well. So we were able to chat with some faculty members from our dietetics department about the benefits of exercise and nutrition and just the benefits that has on your body and your mental health overall. But we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about relationships and how some friendships and those strong relationships can also be super beneficial to your mental health right now. So we're going to turn it over to a video presentation by Kirsten Bachman. She is one of our faculty members within the psychology department. So we will be able to play her video where she shares some just more information about how useful it is to have those strong relationships, particularly during this time.
Hi everyone, this is Kirsten Bachman, and I teach several classes as an adjunct in the Department of Psychology. You might see me in classes like the Psychology of Learning and Sensation and Perception, which I'll be teaching in the fall at Mount Mary. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you. This is a time unlike any that we've ever seen in history, right? As a psychologist, I would like to share with you today some of the context behind the isolation that we're currently experiencing and how having a specific core group of friends can improve your emotional well-being more than anything else that you can do right now. My students find it particularly relevant when I connect principles that we learn in psychology and apply them to today's world. So let's take a look at our experiences at being connected as well as being disconnected. I'll give you some strategies that you can use right now and tell you some things that you might not know already about the power of friendship. I'm going to talk to you briefly about some stress relieving techniques that you might not typically consider when you think about being stressed or anxious or fearful or uncertain. All of these are emotions that are very common to the experience of being a human. What you might not think about is reaching out to others when you are feeling these negative emotions. Indeed, research in the field of psychology shows that humans will actually prioritize the need to belong or the need to feel included or accepted by other people above and beyond other fundamental needs that might surprise you, including things like eating, sleeping, and meeting other basic physiological needs, like going to the restroom, for instance. And while this might be surprising, there's a lot of information in the field of psychology that can be beneficial to our everyday lives. One of these is especially important in times when we're feeling alone. Again, going back to the idea of the fundamental need to belong, research suggests that when we're feeling unpleasant emotions, one thing that we can do in order to feel better, indeed to release hormones like dopamine that physiologically make us feel good, is something as simple as finding a friend. So as you're thinking about the times that you're feeling stressed, which again is a normal human experience, think about how simply picking up the phone, making a call, sending a text, reaching out to someone in a social media environment, and simply sharing an experience with someone else might actually help you instead of make you feel worse. So think about things that make you afraid. Perhaps it's something like being alone, or maybe you have a big event or assignment or goal that you have on the horizon. Even something as simple as making a really big decision that could be life-changing. All of those things are areas in our everyday world where psychological research tells us that reaching out and simply talking about it with someone can make us feel better. Indeed, if we do make that decision, a friend can help us to feel more validated that we've done the right thing. So, how can psychology inform our everyday existence, both in negative emotions as well as positive emotions? Indeed, we know that negative emotions encourage us to relieve them. In other words, we want to remove whatever the stimulus is that's causing us to experience that in the feeling things like happy or excited or even elated or surprised. We actually are driven and motivated to make that emotion more intense and to make it last longer. So how can friends do that? Well, think about the last time that you were with a group of friends, perhaps watching a movie that you all enjoy. Perhaps it's something that is making you laugh or smile. Again, research suggests that doing these simple things can actually add a lot to our everyday lives. Before you think that you might not have enough friends or you need to go out and choose additional ones, research also shows that there is sort of this magical number of close others. These are individuals that we know will be there for us in times of need, whether it's something to share a happy experience or if we're really stressed out and we need this person to simply listen to us or perhaps provide advice. Research shows that that magical number is somewhere between the number of 3 to 5. So you might be surprised thinking, well, I thought I might need more like 10 or 20 or 50 or 100. And while it's true that having additional individuals who are there for us to count on can be beneficial to us, research tends to show that when we start to have additional relationships in our lives above and beyond that magical number of 3 to 5, those tend to be more surface level. So when you're thinking about defining true friendship, think about this person as being one that when you call on them, they're going to be there. Because otherwise, if you have these 10, 20, 50, or 100 individuals and you're not really sure, one, that can lead to some confusion and some negative emotions of just trying to figure out who you should call. And two, you might try to reach out to someone and find that they're really not there for you, and then that can also make you feel bad as well. So when you're thinking about all of these ways that friends can benefit and augment your life and your everyday existence, be sure to be really choosy and select those friends that are going to really be there when you need them, or else you're going to have more and not less stress. So in conclusion, the next time that you're feeling either negative or positive emotions, you have a big decision on the horizon, or you simply don't really know what you're feeling, research suggests that reaching out to a friend can make you feel much better.
That was an awesome presentation. So glad that Kirsten could send that our way to share with all of you. And to just kind of reiterate what we've been talking about, I think that these series have been so helpful in touching on all of these big themes for all of us as we're trying to navigate this new normal. Particularly tonight, I've personally found it extremely helpful that, you know, exercise, nutrition, and relationships, those are all key factors to having you know, healthy mental health. So I want to thank all of our faculty and alums again for joining us this evening and sharing their expertise with all of us. One other thing I'd like to reiterate is that this session was recorded this evening. So like I said earlier, if you need to reference any of the information that we talked about tonight, or if you'd like to pass it along to anyone else, we will have that available after our session. We will have our third and final session tomorrow night starting at 7 p.m. And again, you can go back and reference our first session from last night, talking about wearing your face mask appropriately and coping with any of those stressors or anxieties that come with having that cloth face mask. And one other thing that I would just like to touch on is, I talked about this last night, but I just think we are so lucky to be a part of a campus community that has these faculty members and these alum who are just so excited and willing to volunteer their time and share their expertise with all of us. Again, we are in such a wonderful position that we have all of these experts on campus and all of these very supportive faculty and staff within our community who are here to help all of us navigate this new world that we're all living in and trying to figure out together. In addition to having all of these supportive and you know, experts on our campus, we also have other resources available to our students, such as our counseling session, or our counselors, mental health counselors on campus, available to our students. So just want to reiterate that Mount Mary is really here to support all of our students as we kind of come back to campus this fall and come together as a community and learn how to live together again. So thank you again for joining us this evening. Please come back tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. for our final installment. But have a great rest of your evening, and I hope you found this session helpful.